Is it picking my voice? All right. Hello. Hello. Okay. All right. So I was asking. I think about three persons tried out the assignment, and that's interesting. So can I see what you guys did? Can I see? Can I take a look at what we did? Do I? Do I? Hello. Is it picking it? Is the mic pick? Is the mic picking now? Okay. All right. We'll have to continue. But I was saying I want to have a look at what we did so that I'll at least understand that we did something. Let me have a look at what we did. Is this on our system or where exactly is it? Okay, it's in your console. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys to write it in your VS Code actually. If you test it on your phone on your console and it works, you write it in your VS Code. Yeah. Who else tried it out? Okay. Do you have your own in your system? Can I look at it? Okay. Is this okay? This is your dev tools now. All right. So I can see you declared a name, Splendor, declared an integer 25, declared an array, colors, declared an object, person. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, hobbies is an array inside an object. That's interesting. Then you now did console.log, name, age, colors, and person. Oh, okay, all right. So, so I can see result is greater and a% 2 equal to 0 or b greater than c. But what I want to ask a question. Do you understand these things that you wrote here? You understand them? Oh, that's good. No problem. That's the most important thing. Okay. So today we'll just have to continue. We'll have to continue. Like I said, it is when you practice, actually, that's when you get to learn. This thing is coding, so you need to be practicing it. That's the only way you learn it. You don't you don't learn it by just learning. You just have to practice and apply them. Okay. So today we are going to continue. Yesterday we looked at JavaScript, basic syntax of JavaScript, variables and data types. We also looked at some operators and how to declare a function. So what did I say? If I want to declare a function, how do I do that? What's the first keyword I use for declaring a function? All right, so I use the function keyword followed by what? Okay, followed by what again? Opening and closing parentheses, followed by what? Opening and closing curly braces. Now, I said that the block of a function begins from where? From the opening curly braces, right? So that is inside there that you will now write your function. So how about the return keyword? What does it do? What's the function of the return keyword? It returns it returns the result of your function, right? So, and it also determines the type of your function. So if the return is returning a number, the type will eventually number, right? If it's returning a string, the type will as well eventually return a string. Okay, so that's what we did. Did we look at conditional statement, if else? Did we look at it? Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's build from there. Let's continue. Let's just build from there. I have my console. Okay. All right. So let's do something now. Let's define a function now that can return the grades of a student. Let's say you want to write a program that when you feed it a score, it will be able to return the grade of that student, right? Now, this will lead us to what we call pseudo coding. Now, all this while I've been telling us that the correct approach to programming is understanding the steps on how to solve your problem, right? So now we are challenged with a task. We want to write a program that grades students. Okay? So I want to ask a question. How do we approach this task? What should be the first thing we have to do? How do we approach this task? We want to write a program that can grade a student, or a function that accepts a parameter that is a grade, and then it returns to you whether that student passed. Or okay, to just return to you the grade of the student. How do we do that? Like, what should be the approach to take? Now, this approach now you are about to brainstorm is what we call pseudo coding. That is, how do you want to approach solving this problem? Don't forget about the actual function. Forget about, like, this is more like logical thinking. I'm asking, you are given a task. Write a function that accepts a student's a student's score, and then it returns the grade of that student. So how do you approach this problem? Okay, first of all, you find a way to accept the student score, right? So when you accept that student score, what should be the next thing you do? You have to check. You have to check if the score meets a certain range, right? For you to be able to say, okay, this is the grade to return. Is it not it? So just with that, you've solved this problem. Now the question says, write a function so you know that you are actually writing a function, right? You know that you are declaring a function, and it says it accepts an argument score. All right. So when you are given the task, write a function that accepts an argument score and returns the grade of. Okay, let's say write a function that accepts an argument score and returns the grade based on the value of the score. Do you understand? So now you've understood that the first thing is, how do I get the score, right? I will accept the score. Is it not it? Now, I will evaluate that score with a pre-existing range of numbers. So if that score meets that particular criteria, then return this particular value, right? So with this step now, you've understood how to tackle this problem. The very next thing you just need to do is, let's assume you've never declared a function before. You just Google, how do I declare a function? All right? Now, you learn that, okay, for me to declare a function, I need to start with the function keyword, the name of my function, opening and closing parentheses, opening and closing curly braces, right? Now, that's the number one thing. You now ask, how do I accept an argument to a function, right? Because that should be the next thing you are meant to do. How do I accept that argument? How I accept it is by declaring inside the parentheses, right, the name of the argument that you want to accept. That's just it. That's the number two. You've done that. Then the number three now is, how do I evaluate that argument to a range of numbers? Are we together? In other words, which control flow statement do I use? Now, you can actually use the if-else statement, okay? We have the if-else statement. We have the switch statement. That's basically the two types of control flow statements that you can use to check if that if that particular value matches your benchmark or what you are looking at. All right, so let's approach this task now. We said write a function that accepts a student's score, right? So let's assume we want to call that function grading system. So I want to write a function called grading system, and it accepts a score, all right? The argument score. So I will start by doing function grading system, and it accepts an argument score. I've declared, look at it. I've done the first task. I've written a function that accepts an argument of score. Are we together? Now, why I'm saying it this way is because I'm saying it because if you are given a coding challenge, they will write it down. Your ability to interpret that question, that's the first step to you solving the problem. Do we get? So I've answered the first part. Write a function that accepts an argument score. That's the first thing. Now, the next thing will be the score argument is to be evaluated within a range of numbers, right? You want to compare it within a range of numbers to check if it meets a certain criteria. So let's now decide. Let's say we have a grading system of A, B, C, D, and E. All right? Okay, let's use our university grading system. I know that from 70 to 100 is what? An A, right? Now, from 60 to 69 is what? A B, right? Now, from 50 to 59 is a C. From 40 to 49 is a D. From 30 to 39 is an E. Anything less than 30 is an F. Okay? Is that not it? That is exactly what it is, especially for system. That's all right. So if you have anything less than 30, now extract or you repeat the class. All right. So now the next thing we have to do is, okay, we've written this function Now we want to evaluate the score against this range of numbers, right? So we are going to use the if statement. We will say if score is what? If score, let's start from, if score is greater than or equal to 70. All right? That's just it. If score is greater than or equal to 70, what do? We'll log out that the person had an A, right? You do console.log, the grade is an A. All right? So that is that. Now, let's assume that that score is not greater than or equal to 70. If you want to write an else, you do else. If score is greater than or equal to 60. All right? Now watch. Look at what this thing means. If score is greater than, score can be greater than or equal to 60, right? So it means that score can be 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, all the way to 69. But if score, once score enters 70, you will see that it is in this block now. Are we together? This block of code will start running. So you don't really need to say if score is greater than or equal to 60 and less than or equal to 69. Do you understand? It's not necessary. Why? Because you already have a condition that handles that for you. All right. So you do else if score is greater than or equal to 60, console.log AB. All right. And okay. Now you also do else if score is greater than or equal to 50. You also do a console.log AC. Else if score is greater than or equal to 40, you also do a console.log D. All right. Now, I think we have, okay, we still have an E. If score is greater than or equal to 30, we do a console.log and E. All right. So the last one is the else. Oops. Okay. I didn't close it. So the last one is going to be an else. Then now this else statement means if none of these conditions evaluates to true, if none of these conditions evaluates to true, then come here and evaluate. Are we together? Come into this code block and then console.log F. All right. So that's that. We've succeeded in answering this question. Write a function that accepts, now, write a function that accepts the parameter score, all right? And it returns the grade based on the value of that score. Okay, so let me explain again. We use the keyword function. We chose the name of our function to be grading system. This is the argument score. All right. So our function is accepting score, and the first block of code, the first conditional statement our function meets is it is checking if score is greater than or equal to 70. So it will return to us an A. Else, if it is greater than or equal to 60, B. And it continues like that until we get to 30. All right. Now, any other thing that is not within that range of 30 means it is less than 30, right? So that is why the last block of code, console.log F, will have to evaluate. So for us to now test this thing, so we are going to call our grading system with a particular value, okay? All right. Yeah, yes. The person grade will fall under E because that's the range it covers. Are we together? So let's call grading system with a 70. It returned an A, right? All right. So let's call grading system with 10. What should it give us? So you see, let's call grading system with 100 A. We can call grading system with what? With what? 50. What should it be? A B. Is it a B or C? A C. All right, so let's call grading system with 59. What should it be? Still a C, right? So if we now call grading system with 39, what will it give us? A D. An E, rather. Yeah. So if we call it with 9, should be what? All right. So it's carryover. So do you see that we succeeded in answering that question, and this simple function now has taught us how to go about a conditional statement. Now, let me give you people a task right now. We are going to do it, and it's going to be in a group. So you write a function that accepts the temperature, all right, a room temperature. You write a function that accepts a temperature as value. Now, it returns, look at it, it's meant to print out 3 things. If that temperature is greater than, please, for some of young men are still in school, what is room temperature? What? Jesus, is that it? Room temperature. Is it not 30 something? 25. 25. Is it a new one? Or the existing one? No. That one is. It's 30 something. Jesus. Since when now? Since when? Really? 25. Okay, because me, when I was still junior secondary, it used to be 30 something. Probably 39 or 32 degrees Celsius or what. Let me find out. I just learned that one recently. Okay. Okay, let's work with international standard then. If the okay, body temperature. Oh, okay. Which is 30 what? Okay, 36, 30. All right, no problem. So we are working with standard room temperature, which is 25 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature is greater than, okay, if the temperature is within the range of 25, 29, in fact, 25 to, let's say, to 37, okay? If the temperature is within the range of 25 to 37, let it return that it's normal room temperature, okay? The range is this. The range of values is from 25 to 37, okay? That is for normal room temperature. 25 to 37, normal room temperature. Now, anything greater than 37 should be hot. All right, it should return hot temperature. Anything greater than 37 should return hot temperature. Now, anything else should return very cold temperature. Hmm? Yeah. Anything else. So, look at how we are going to do it now. We have 3 groups. You guys will work in a group. Brainstorm. I know there's really nothing much to brainstorm. So, but just let someone that is good at handling the system handle the system. Your other people will contribute with ideas. So it's part of collaboration. Now look at how we go. Okay, 4-4. So we are doing it 4-4. Yeah, so it's actually 4-4. Let's do it this way. Sir in blue, please come and join these people here. Obina, Fedora, Nico. Eh? We are not doing feminine things here. Okay, Obina, you join them. You make them fall. Go with your system. At least you have your system there. Bring your system, carry it to that place. All right. So, sir, you have to join them here. Okay, no. Join here. While you join there. Okay, so you just have 10 minutes, please. So someone is with a system here. We can use his own. You just have 10 minutes, so. No, I'm not giving you 15. Huh? Someone took it down, please. Someone should help us with the range of value. Okay, just write a function that accepts room temperature. Okay? It accepts room temperature. Now, it evaluates that room temperature based on these values. If it is 25 to 37, it will print out normal room temperature. Okay? Now, anything greater than 37 will print out hot room temperature. Now, any other thing should print out very cold temperature. Yes. You have 9 more minutes. Please, start typing. Open your console and start brainstorming together. One person should be on the console. Obina, I think you should be the, is it Fedora that is doing it? Okay, no problem. He's trying to use that as an excuse. Said he was not in class yesterday. Make I put expo for board for you people. No, it's so that you will not have syntax error. That's why I'm putting it there. Five minutes more. 3 minutes more. Two minutes more. It's not, I'm not doing gender discrimination. Right? You guys all started at the same time. All right. So let's continue. So that's a few. No, don't worry. Just stay together, Z, because I'm going to give another task. I will illustrate an example quickly, and I'll give another task for us to do. So this time around, I'm going to introduce another control statement known as the loop. All right. Please stay. No. Stay together. Stay. Yes. The teamwork has already started. So after today, I'm going to give it an assignment, so it will be done in groups. So you guys will have your group call or group meeting or anyhow and be solving it together. All right. So I'm going to we are going to learn about loops now. Okay. So for now, let's just look at the screen. Let's look at the screen. Okay. Now I want to print. When I want to execute a function repeatedly, all right? When I want to execute a function repeatedly, we make use of what is called a loop, all right? So in JavaScript, there are three kinds of loop. We have for loop, we have the while loop, and the do while loop, okay? So we have the for loop and the while loop and the do while loop. But we are going to only look at the for loop and the while loop. Okay? Now look at the syntax for the for loop. Please, let's look up. Let's look at the screen. Look at the syntax for the for loop. Let's say I want to print out a number. I want to print out 1 to 10. Okay? I want to print out 1 to 10. I'll do for. This is the syntax for. Once you type the for, you open your parentheses. Now, it has given me an idea of what to do. So I'll declare a counter variable, okay? Now, remember a loop performs a function multiple times, right? Based on the counter. So you must have a counter variable, okay? So in this case, we are not going to declare that variable with const or let if we are using the for loop. Or, okay, you could actually declare it or you can omit it, okay? You could say for let I equal to 0, all right? Now, we are saying from 0, okay? For this is the syntax you should use. For let I equal to 0, you put your this thing, semicolon, all right? Now, I less than 10. Okay? So, yeah, so we are looping from 0 to 9, not from 0 to 10. Okay? We are doing from 0 to 9 and not from 0 to 10. Remember I said computer counts from 0, right? Exactly. But in essence, the code will run 10 times because 0 to 9 is actually 10 times. All right? So, now we are going to do I plus plus. Now, this I plus plus simply means I plus, okay, I equal to I plus 1. Remember, okay, the last time we did something like I plus equal I, right? You said? Yes, this is loop. We are doing for the loop. For loop statement. So, we are doing for the for loop statement, and this is the syntax for let I equal to 0, I less than 10, and I plus plus. All right, so I'm going to have console.log I, and I will just hit enter. I have my values from 0 to 9. Okay? If I had wanted to print from 1 to 10, actually, I'll do, instead of I equal to 0, I'll do 1, all right? So I'll do 1, and I'll now do less than or equal to 10, okay? So in number line system, if you could flash back your mindset, those days in secondary school, we had what is it called? is equals boundaries. We have the one that when you draw an empty circle, you draw a line and an empty circle, right? It means that the first and the last are not inclusive, right? But then if you want to include the first and the last, you have to shade those circles, indicating that first and last are inclusive in the range. All right? So that's actually the meaning. So we are saying that I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, and I plus plus. We are increasing the value of I, and then we are printing out the value of I from 0, from 1 to 10. So this is just an illustration of using the for loop. Okay? So now, this is just it. This is how you do the for statement. The next one is the while loop. Okay? Now, the while loop will execute a function as long as that condition is true. Example, let I equal to 0. Okay? Now, while I is less than 10, now console.log I, and I will close. There's a problem. This thing is running multiple times. I'll have to close this thing before my system will crash. If I leave it like this system is going to crash. Okay, but I said let I equal to 0. While I is less than 10. Now, there is a problem. The reason why it's performing this stuff now is because I'm not increasing the value of I. There should be I should have checkmated I by increasing the value of I. But since I'm not doing that, I've written a code that has the capacity to crash my system. I just need to close this console. That's the only, I don't know if Control C or Control X. There's no way to end this process. I just have to close this console and open a new one. Trying to right click on, but it's not responding. System. Well, the system is not responding again. But let's just wait for it to come up. I wouldn't know. Probably that stuff we did. to that particular number. Okay, let's say we want to write a function that prints from 1 to 20. Okay, we want to write a function that actually prints from 1 to 20. How do you think we can do that? Okay, we'll let I equal to what? 1, okay. While I is less than 20, right? Because, yeah, less than, okay, less than or equal to what? 20, right? So you now do console.log I, right? And I plus, okay, cool. So let's say, let's declare a function, print num, and Please watch. You are not serious. Alright, I have solved it, so you should solve it yourself too. Our signal has gone out too. That's what I want to do now. Let it come back. It has not received signal. It's on as it is now, right? But it's not pushing signal.
There's a lot of extension on this wire. It's not relaxing. Have you unplugged from your laptop and plugged that?
Yeah, yes, I have actually. Okay. Huh? But it's not picking it. There is no they touch me. Just need my palm they sweat too much. Okay, are we done? But we are almost done. It's the for loop now. I use the for loop. For let I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 20, I plus plus. Then now, but remember I put semicolon in between each of them. Are you confused from what you wrote before? Instead of incrementing by 1, I'm incrementing by 2. Or you can use the approach of modulus operator. You have 3 minutes more. So that is just a quick way to illustrate control statement and loop. Now we just used it to solve an ordinary printing out even numbers and odd numbers too. But then you could actually use it to do something much more important or much more reasonable than that. Okay, it's not just, you don't just use it for printing even and odd numbers. That's not really what we use them for. Okay, so anyways, my intentions was for us to really wrap up JavaScript this week, but okay. Okay, so please, you are going to clone down this my repository. You are going to clone down this repository. Go to my GitHub and clone down this repository. Utils. Alright, the name of the repository is utils. You can see it here. This is the name of the repository. Utils, alright? So clone it down to your system and use it to revise every single thing that we have done so far. I actually want to go. I did that repository in my Linux. So you can see this thing is Windows. This is not the operating system that you guys were seeing before now. So what I'm just doing is what I need you to do. Go to my GitHub repository and clone down this repository, utils, alright? It's inside these utils that I documented that stuff I was using to teach us on this JavaScript. You understand? So you are going to clone it and use it to go through everything that I've documented there on JavaScript. So I want to do that now. I want to do git clone. I want to clone down this repository. Cloning into utils. Alright, I've cloned it. I've actually cloned it. I will go to cd utils. I'm inside utils. Now everything I'm doing is what I need you to do. Sure you guys are understanding? Alright, so I'm inside utils. I'll go to cd javascript -utils. Alright. Alright, so I need you to, oh, okay, it does not recognize the .code. I needed to open it directly with VS Code. so open it with VS Code. Open that folder with VS Code. That's what I want to do right now. I will go to, this is my VS Code. Open that particular folder. Open that particular folder, and then the name of that folder is utils, right? Okay, so alright, so that's it. JavaScript utils, and I'll select the folder. Okay, so now this is a markdown file. Like I said, .md file is a markdown file. But if you want it to appear in a formatted way, okay, you do Ctrl+Shift+V. Alright, so you press Ctrl+Shift+V. What's all this thing? Alright, so you see, once I press Ctrl+Shift+V, you can see how nicely formatted it's appearing. You get? So what I will just show you is how to link your JavaScript to your, normally I've taught us everything I'm supposed to teach us, but one thing I did not teach us is methods. I taught us how to create an object, right, yesterday, but I didn't show us how to create a method. Okay, so you should read it up here. It actually has an instance. Example, look at, we said let car equal to, this is an object, the attributes of this car are brand, model. Now this start engine is a method. Okay, and actually I said the method is a function inside an object, right? A function inside a class. So when you do car.start engine, it will execute this function. So using this material, you are going to study on your own a function, right? An object. Okay, an object. So basically I wanted us to go into DOM manipulation and events, but it will not be possible again today because our time is up. So either tomorrow or Thursday we will host another class online. So I would strongly advise that once that class comes up, please join. Meanwhile, use this material to practice everything that we have learned so far, yesterday and today. Go through it again, starting from variables, how to declare a variable, data types, operators, functions, how to write a function. I'm going to be dropping an assignment in the group where you'll be writing a function that performs a particular task. Okay, you guys saw how we declared a function today, how we called it. So declaring and calling your functions are two different things. When you declare, you are declaring using the function keyword, right, followed by the name of your function. But when you are calling that function, you are calling with the name of the function and then followed by parentheses, right? So I'm going to be giving us, I'll be dropping an assignment in the group where you write a function that performs a particular task. So please go through that. And also loops, try out loops. Ask Google, what are the things I can do with a loop? You understand? Practical applications of a loop. Now I saw this, our sir showed me something yesterday, a password generator. It's actually a very cool, simple application, a JavaScript application that generates random passwords. But even if I teach us that stuff now, it will confuse you. Why? Because you've not really done your assignment, you've not done your homework. So your homework right now is for you to use this material. You know, I told you clone my repository. Now go through these things again. Okay, exactly. And now you'll be able to, like, for now, use your console. Okay, use your console to practice everything you are doing on the JavaScript. Actually, for you to run JavaScript on your terminal, you need to have Node.js. Okay, that's what we call Node.js. If I open my terminal, I already have Node.js. I can type Node. Oops, I'll type Node and it will take me to JavaScript terminal. When I do console.log, hello JavaScript, it will print it out for me, hello JavaScript. So most of you don't have Node installed. We are not going to be installing Node because our backend is not with JavaScript. Rather, we are going to be installing Python. Our backend will be with Python. So that's when you'll be installing Python in your system. But for the sake of this our class, you will be practicing your JavaScript on the console. Alright? Now, by Thursday, I'll be teaching us document object model, DOM manipulation, where you can actually link up your JavaScript file to your HTML and CSS and use it to perform some magic. Alright? Exactly. So, but for today and tomorrow, your homework is use this material and practice every single thing that is there. Alright? Now, I'm going to drop an assignment in the group too, which I expect you to do by Thursday. Alright? So that by Thursday, when I fix the class on DOM, I'll know that at least we have a level of understanding. Okay? So what we did today is just a little, we just did a little introduction to data structures and algorithm. not actually data structure, but a little introduction to algorithm. Algorithm simply means a step-by-step approach on how to solve a problem. You understand? When you are being given a task, the algorithm starts when you start troubleshooting, when you start brainstorming on how do I go about solving this task. You understand? Exactly. So that is that for this week. Remember, we'll hold a class on Thursday where we'll wrap up JavaScript. From next week, we'll enter Python. So you have from today till Saturday to start practicing JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. From next week, we'll enter Python. Python is a whole different thing, a whole ball game on its own. The syntax of Python is very different from JavaScript. You are going to be learning it. And when we are done with Python, we are going to learn Django. Django is a framework of Python. That is when you will now get closer to building a web application. Everything we are doing so far, you have not even gotten close to what you are supposed to get close to. So by next week, we'll learn Python for 1 week. And then the remaining 2 weeks, we'll use it to learn Django. Django is an entirely different thing on its own too. So you are going to be, the journey is long, but we are gradually approaching there. All right? So that's why I need us to be doing our assignments. If we are always practicing, at least if I can get like 2 or 3 people that are following me to an extent, I'll be glad that I achieved something. But if nobody is following me to an extent, then it's not fair enough. All right? So let's just try. I know we may be busy, but if you can give yourself like 3 hours every day, you can wake up in the midnight with your system. If you can last at least 3 hours, just give it 3 hours, consistent 3 hours on your system, trying to understand 1 or 2 things. That's how the thing flows. If you just lock up and come back here next week, I will keep teaching, and at the end of the program, I will submit my report that I have taught. So it is left for you to learn. Okay, the best I can always do is show you how to do it, give you materials. The remaining homework and assignment and underground work is left for you to do. That is if you actually value what you are learning and you want to put it into practice. Except if you are just here to, catch cruise and you understand. But I believe that's not why we are here. We're actually here to learn something. So please, let's do. Whenever I give an assignment, attempt it, even if you don't get it. So probably by Thursday, I'll be also teaching us how to use AI to assist you in learning coding. Lately now, most of the things I learned it from AI. I don't even go to documentation. I'll just tell ChatGPT, teach me how to do this thing. With a very calm, voice. I'll tell it, teach me how to do this. It will teach me step by step, like every single detail. From the first thing it tells me, I'll ask it a question, it will respond. Now, the good thing about AI lately is that you no longer need any human being. As I am, I can learn anything I want to learn. I can pick up any single thing I want to pick up, and I'll learn it. If I'm confused, I'll go to ChatGPT, I'll ask it that question. It will understand it. Most times, if I'm writing a code and it throws me an error, I'll copy the error and give it to ChatGPT. It will analyze it and tell me this is where my problem is coming from. I'll go there and fix it. And it will work. I'll come back and tell it, thank you very much. And it will be happy. And tell me that it is glad that it actually assisted me. So the world has really gone digital. By Thursday, we'll be learning a couple of things, DOM manipulation, and I'll wrap up the class by telling us how to use AI to really, fasten up our learning and also assisting us in our coding. So, having said that, that will be the end of today's class. And thank you very much for your audience, and see you guys next week. See you.